Hey, what's up, Epic Gamers? So, as you can see by the title, this is a part 2. I know, right? What the fuck? He's actually doing a part 2 to something. What's gonna happen next? Cats and dogs? Who knows? So yeah, this is a part 2 to my Death Note video. If I can figure it out, I'll have it to where you can click up in the corner for part 1. If you haven't seen it, this video won't make that much sense. So probably go ahead and check that one out and then come back here. And like and subscribe while you're doing that, might as well. But so in this video I'm going over the differences between the manga and the anime. I'm going to be going over the anime first, and then I'm going to be going into the manga. And yeah, there isn't much else I need to say. So I'll get right into it. So we start off in the police station where they're discussing the Kira case.
Upon further investigation, we have confirmed that information of the heart attack victims was in fact publicly available in Japan immediately prior to their deaths.
L deduces that Kira is a student based off the times of death and how they happened.
It suggests that given the times of death, our suspect could very well be a student. I think it's safe to assume that he's driven by a very idealistic notion of justice. It's highly possible he may even aspire to be some sort of godlike figure. We're dealing with an individual who has a very childish concept of right and wrong.
While discussing the Kira case, Masuda points out that there has been a drop in violent crimes since Kira has been operating.
In the last few days throughout the world, but especially here in Japan, we've observed a dramatic decrease in the number of violent crimes committed.
After the meeting, Masuda apologizes for what he said, but the chief gives him some words of encouragement.
I wanted to apologize.
What on earth are you talking about? Nobody said it would be easy to speak the truth, but it has to be done, especially when it's something that isn't easy to say.
We cut back to the house where Light is helping his sister with her homework.
I knew I could count on you, Light.
Hey, so do you think you're ready to try a few on your own now?
Huh?
We then learn that the chief of police is Light's father.
Hey, glad you could join us for dinner. You hungry, Dad?
Yeah, it's been a long day.
We learn that Light gets his information by hacking his father's computer.
That's right. It's easy for me to hack into Dad's computer. We're on a home network, so I can copy the files I need without leaving a trace. This way I can keep track of their investigation.
We then cut to the police station where we see the chief of police reacting to the news of the recent deaths.
He's killing one off every hour on the hour.
Considering that this new pattern has been going on for 2 weekdays,
it does punch some holes in the theory that our suspect is a student.
L deduces that Kira can control the time of death and that he has access to police information.
I believe Kira is telling us that not only can he kill from a distance, but he can also determine the time of death.
Kira has access to police information. It's obvious now. This is a direct challenge to me.
Light's plan is to lead L to suspected someone on the police force, so the police force will start to get mad at L, exposing L to Kira.
It will appear that L and the investigation team are working together to try to catch me. But in reality, L will investigate the police, and they will be investigating L. I'm not the one who's going to find L. I can let the police do that for me. And when they do, that's when I'll eliminate him.
We cut to the police headquarters where a line of officers are resigning from the case for fear of dying.
we demand that you assign us to a different case. Otherwise, you can have our badges right here and now. It's because we value our lives, sir.
We see Ryuk pacing Light's night classes when he notices a shadowy figure looming outside. We learn that L has deployed FBI agents to investigate the police and their families.
We brought the FBI to Japan 4 days ago. They're fully operational. As requested, they're now gathering intel on the police.
Ryuk tells Light about the shadowy figure from before and that he's following them now.
You're being followed by another human. He's watching you right now.
We also get a hint of Kira being a separate person, but it's played off more of a joke.
It's just that I'm no ally of yours, or Kira's if you prefer.
We then get to hear Ryuk tell Light about the Shinigami world and the Shinigami eyes.
I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. We are able to take human lifespans for ourselves. 60 minus 40 equals 20. Now those 20 years taken from someone in the human world are added to that god of death's life. No matter how many names you write in your death note, your lifespan will not increase. Shinigami can tell what a person's name is by just looking at their face. We know instantly. I'm able to see your name and lifespan right now. Our eyes just aren't the same, and that is the difference between you and I.
Light ends up not taking the deal because you have to give up half your remaining life to get the eyes.
The price for having a Shinigami's eyes is half of that person's remaining lifespan. That's all it is.
We start off the next episode in the Shinigami realm, where other Shinigami are talking about Ryuk's disappearance.
Has anyone seen Ryuk around lately? Maybe he was serious about losing his death note.
It was probably picked up by some human before he could get to it.
Ryuk is a little bit taken aback by the pure attitude Light's giving him.
This is what you call telling me early on? I don't see why you couldn't have told me this when we met. Or better yet, you could have simply included it in the instructions for the death note.
Good point. He's not the slightest bit daunted by the fact that I'm a Shinigami. He doesn't suck up to me, and he seems to have no problem giving me a hard time.
While Light looks down on being compared to a Shinigami, he appreciates the existence of Shinigami.
You're becoming a much more impressive Shinigami.
I don't know about that. I mean, from what you're telling me, it sounds like I'm doing a lot more work than they are, but I don't want to be compared to a Shinigami. But I wouldn't necessarily say that the Shinigami realm is meaningless to humans either. Whenever a Shinigami like you comes to the human world once every 100, no, more like every 1,000 years, the human world changes dramatically.
We then cut to the chief of police on the phone where he's learning about the most recent deaths and the circumstances around them.
Bizarre behavior before they died? Could you be more specific?
Before one of them died, he drew a pentagram on the wall of his cell using his own blood. Another left a letter, but it doesn't seem to be a will or anything meaningful. And as for the third victim, he escaped from his cell and ran all the way to the staff bathrooms before he died.
With these deaths, we as well as Elle learn that Kira can control the actions of the people before they die, as well as the time.
I have reason to believe that Kira was performing some kind of test using these criminals. And if that's the case, we'd only be giving him the results if this information is leaked to the public.
After Light learns that his tests work, he comes up with a master plan to take out his shadow.
Look at this, Ryuk. I think we're in luck. The results of yesterday's little test have already been downloaded onto my dad's computer.
We see Light learn about the abilities and limits of the Death Note.
For the other 3 inmates, I purposely wrote conditions that were virtually impossible. Everyone knows that it's physically impossible to go from a prison in Japan to Paris, France in only 1 hour. Next was supposed to draw an exact picture of Elle's face on the prison wall. This also didn't happen. You can't draw someone you've never seen, right? It's impossible to make someone write what they don't already know. Or, at the very least, it has to be the kind of thing that they could come up with on their own. Basically, even the Death Note can't do the impossible.
We then see Light call in a date.
Hello? Light? Morning.
Light is meeting up with this date at the bus stop the next day.
It's a date no matter how you look at it. And I'm sure even my stalker will see it that way.
And we hear a voiceover from Light's shadow, and we learn that today is his last day tailing Light.
At any rate, I'll be done with my surveillance today, and that'll be it.
After traveling for a while, the bus stops and a questionable man boards and hijacks the bus, demanding money from Spaceland.
Stay in your seats unless you want to die! Have a female staff member bring all of Spaceland's cash from yesterday. I know it's there!
Light tries to pass his date a note, playing the tough guy, but the FBI agent is sitting behind him and advises him against it.
Don't be stupid. That's risky.
After grilling the FBI agent, he ends up having to show Light his badge, and this gives away his name and his face.
Do you have any proof that you're not his accomplice? The first hijacker comes in like he's working alone. Meanwhile, a second one pretends to be a hostage and stays in the very back just in case something goes wrong.
I have no choice. I'm sure Light Yagami isn't Kira.
Ray Penber.
Light then drops a piece of paper, but the hijacker grabs it, not knowing it's part of the Death Note.
What the hell is that? Plans for a date, huh?
The hijacker then freaks out after seeing Ryuk and starts to shoot at him.
How long have you been hiding back there?
What's this? You're talking to me? Sorry, pal. I'm a Shinigami, so I'm afraid your bullets aren't gonna kill me.
After he runs out of bullets, he demands the bus stops and then runs out where he's hit by a car.
"11:45 on the dot. Everything went just as I planned.
We then get a full breakdown of how Light planned this all out.
Ichiro Osoreda, accidental death. Boards the 1131 Spaceland-bound bus near the eastern entrance to the park, holding a loaded gun and attempts to hijack the bus. He sees a horrific phantom and empties his gun trying to kill it. Terrified, he flees the bus. Immediately afterwards, at 11:45, he dies when struck by a car. The Death Note never fails.
That's it for the anime. Now we're gonna go ahead and switch over to the manga. We start off the manga in the Shinigami world where the others are noticing Ryuk being gone. Light's taking a break from being Kira, and it shows how Light sees Kira as a different person. Light's sister also asks for help with homework in this book instead of earlier on. We also get a nice little meat beat joke, which actually might not be a joke since Light wasn't using the magazine to cover up using the Death Note or anything. I mean, technically, he did read articles about Kira, but I don't know. Light also sets up the hidden drawer in this book. In the manga, we also follow Light as he buys the supplies for the drawer. After setting the drawer up, Light says it's better to have a house fire instead of a death penalty. And he also says things along the lines of, if my family catches me using the Death Note, Kira will have to kill them, which goes to further show it's almost like a split personality. Generally, the art in the manga is quite beautiful, but especially when Ryuk is telling Light about the eyes, it's just so great, and honestly better than what they show in the anime. In the manga, after the dinner scene where Light's father is introduced, he tells his mom not to come up to his room because he's going to be cleaning it. His mom notes that that's weird because he's been cleaning his own room since high school, and also, this scene just doesn't really happen in the anime. It just goes from them eating dinner to Light in his room talking to Ryuk. This highlights the main difference between the manga and the anime. While the manga and the anime both follow the same story and hit the same story beats, the manga goes deeper into it and acts almost as a character study on Light Yagami. We get to see him hanging out with friends, being a model student, and we get to see more of his day-to-day life and interactions. We see him go from just a typical person to someone who would shut himself in his room all day and hang out with Ryuk. This means that the manga, instead of being an action mystery drama like the anime, is more of a psychological character study of Light Yagami, almost like a Twilight Zone in a way. And being a fan of the anime and having watched it several times, starting to go through the manga and read the books, it's almost like a different series. Other than that, everything else in the manga is about the same as the show. Maybe a couple words are changed here and there, but it follows the same general structure. Alright guys, so that was it for episode 2. I'm doing the outro like this because I'm fishing in Black Desert right now. Go ahead and like, subscribe, you know, episode 3 is being made. I hope we actually can have a little trust now, because I know a lot of the time I say I'm making a part 2 and it never happens, but we got the part 2 now. I'm making a part 3. Also, make sure to go check out ATF Records. I've been doing a lot of work with them. The roll-up music video is out. I'll be playing a little bit of that at the end of this video. July 1st, we have a concert. We're going to be performing there. We're going to have a live stream the night of, and then later on a full video will be coming out of that. Hopefully it goes better than the last concert. I'll put that at the end card on this or up in the corner or whatever. But we have that coming up July 1st. We have a video dropping July 1st. It's a town tour. You know, we kind of take you around the hometown, kind of a little story time. If that's something you're interested in, that'll be dropping July 1st also. And also, July 1st, Agnostic's album is dropping, so a lot of shit going on July 1st. You don't want to miss it, so go ahead and check out ATF Records, like, subscribe, run it all up on there. And I think that's about it. I don't want to drag on too long. Shit, I gotta start work on episode 3. Shit, until next time. Later.
You just got shot by a pimp.
I just wanna smoke my weed. I'm just on my vibe. I smoke alone, I just wanna roll my weed all on my own. Cause can't nobody fuck with me. It's okay, I'm a roller. I'm just on my vibe and everybody knows I smoke alone. I just wanna roll my weed all on my own. Cause can't nobody fuck with me. It's okay, I'm a roller. I'm just on my vibe and everybody knows. Everybody knows I'm known to light some weed and pros. My situation had me stressed, it's when I learned to roll. Inhale the smoke and cough it up, and that's what soothes my soul. Coughing so much smoke up out my lungs, they think I got a cold. Back in the day, they say I used to be a demon. Smoking in my car, driving fast cause I like speeding.
What up, y'all? It's Agnostic here. If you enjoyed that short little preview, you can go check out the full video by clicking on the advertisement here. Remember to go check out ATF Records, Agnostic, for more music and entertaining videos.
Yes, sir. Zoom in more in post. Getting my bread up, dog. Up, dog.